My name is Amantha Edmead and I love flowers. I am just crazy about flowers. I use them for everything. I use them to make me feel happy. I use them because they're beautiful. I use them to fragrance my home. I use them to express love and joy in gifts to friends and family.
Hi, madam.
Thank you. Now, my love for flowers is leading me to Kenya. I am going to visit this country and find out where some of these flowers come from. And I really want to delve into the issues behind flowers and how they're grown. I mean, are they ethically sourced? Or are there underlying issues that we should all be aware of? What will life be like for the workers that I'm going to meet, and how are they going to receive me? I have arrived in Kenya and it is beautiful here. And I've just been met with a great surprise. There is a conference taking place this week and it's going to be looking at the horticultural industry, and there'll be various NGOs and trade unions, including workers, and they're all here to discuss the issues and the ways forward in the flower industry.
Oh, we are homeless, who do one life's living on a midnight train.
I've met June, and June is one of the organisers of this conference. She works with an organisation called Women Working Worldwide, and she has agreed for me to sit with her in various interviews. One of the key issues being discussed was the living wage.
No methodologies has been specified for calculating a living wage. So it is the sector by sector, it is you to do it in your sector. Why are we talking about a living wage? We are talking about a living wage because what we have in horticulture industry cannot sustain even one person, leave alone a family.
In Uganda, it is the lowest salary a worker can get is 45,000 Uganda shillings per month, which is actually less than $1 a day, or just close to $1 a day. It's very low. Sometimes they don't reach beyond 100,000. That is the limit, the ceiling for their salary. And yet, when you look at the salaries of the managers and whatever, they start from 2 million and above. So you see that gap. There is a very big gap. These women really do not, they work for peanuts. In fact, there is one of them that when we interviewed her, she said, we work for stones. That is the expression. We work for stones. So then what are our lives like? What can we gain out of this? We work for this thing just for survival.
We as workers feel that we need to have at least a better wage so that we can cater for the basic needs that we all have, like education for our children, good housing, health services for our children, and good schooling for our children also. We also need to encourage the employers to at least consider our wages so that whatever you earn is not just for your survival. It's enough so that you can even keep something for your children in the future. We all know that today we are working, but we have to have a generation tomorrow. There has to be that generation of workers.
It's not enough to sustain them with their families, so they just live in under poor economic conditions.
Thank you. Whilst I've been here, I've had the opportunity to visit a farm worker who had been laid off and had worked as a casual worker with no job security.
She has been working at Karen Rose's. Karen Rose is a flower farm just around this place.
Nikasimamishwa. Sasa niko tu hapa.
She was stopped from work and now she's jobless. She's here. Yes.
Okay.
But you know what happens? They are stopped and then they are asked to go back maybe after 3 months to sign new contracts again.
Okay.
That is the trade in the flower farms because they don't want to put them in permanent contract.
Casualisation often meant that you didn't know next week if you had a job or if you're going to get money to live.
I find that majority of the workers that are there spend a long time there. Others, especially the majority, are in the season of work, even as casuals. Whereby today you're hired, tomorrow you're gone.
Bueno, y sobre todo es que ese gran esfuerzo que ellas hacen para que funcione el negocio, para que hacer unas flores muy bonitas que van a distribuirse en todo el mundo, no hay una retribución justa a su esfuerzo. Entonces las condiciones son muy precarias en sus trabajos y es posible que aunque una mujer trabaje 20, 30 años en este renglón, no vaya a salir nunca de la pobreza.
The conference has also organised an opportunity for us to go and visit a farm and for me to see for myself the processes of growing flowers.
Yeah, there are several issues like the working conditions in the farms here. This includes the issue of occupational safety and health because first of all, most of the workers, they are not aware of health and safety issues. They need personal protective equipment. The health hazards in the workplace, they are not very much aware of that.
Many people raise concerns about health and safety at the farms.
Because flowers have sprayed with pesticides, which pesticides are harmful. But these workers are not protected, those that do the harvesting. We have seen women with rough bodies because of not being protected. You know, you harvest flowers, this hand harvests, and then this one holds that which you have already cut. But these flowers have thorns, these flowers have pesticides, some residues of pesticides on them. So they have developed rough and black patched skins on their arms. These women, workers that work in harvesting, should also be protected and should be examined, medically examined.
Yeah, in the areas of occupational health and safety, what I'll tell you is that we have a lot of challenges, of which some we have tried to address them, some of which I will tell you when you talk of the pesticide itself. And you know, there's been a lot of usage of pesticides in the horticulture sector and in the greenhouses. But you find that the employer, because he's got market and he has to transport his flowers to go to UK because the buyer is waiting for them. So what happens is they'll be spraying this the other side people are picking, and that is one thing that is a challenge that we saw. So we had to sit with management and tell them to say this is very unhealthy because each chemical has got its different toxicity, right? There are others that are acute right there and there, but others are long term. The other thing also is that you find that even those that are in the packing shed, they're supposed to be provided with proper protective wear, but instead at times they don't have any gloves. So you find that the thorns of the rose flowers keep on picking them up. And with this era of HIV and AIDS, you never know this one touches. And not only that, it also affects their sensitivity in terms of the figures. Others develop also rashes because of some of the chemical residues that are coming out from the chemicals that have been sprayed.
In fact, there is a lady that told me, she said, Flavia, look, I'm a young lady, but all my body is rough. Which man can want to marry me? Look at that. That is a quote from one of the young ladies working in the farm.
I also found out that they worked very long hours.
So, what I'm trying to talk about is these overtimes. Many attempts to get workers inside the company for extra hours. Some workers are not even being paid for the overtimes. The others, if you are being paid, there is no security even for your transport. You end up maybe sexual harassed on the way going home because you are being released late and there is no transport, so you end up walking at night.
So one of the key issues of concern in all sectors all over the world is the level of wages they need to subsist and the numbers of hours worked. You have heard the testimony of these girls. You'll find that workers work long hours, but the payment is very low. This one is happening. And it is the key issues and the area of concern.
The most powerful players in the global supply chains, of course, are not in the room. The retailers and the buyers at the front end, who they themselves put such pressure onto the local producers. And it's that pressure on lead times in particular that then leads to that overtime. And so, again, collectively, it's how we bring that kind of pressure up the top end of the supply chain so that we're not faced with local managers saying, what can I do? If I want this contract, I have to produce it in this time. And that means, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but I have to then employ people at such working hours.
We work for long hours, of which the conditions we work in are very bad. You can bend from morning up to evening. You're not allowed to sit because there are no seats in greenhouses.
Lots of the work in the farms involves a lot of bending, and that can sometimes have a negative effect on the back.
I wish they can provide at least some seats or stands where somebody which can support you, not to cause some economic problems to your back. It would be very, very okay for us as workers.
Yeah, then there is a lot of bending involved. Do your staff complain about backing?
That's why we have given, I told you, achievable target. Like in a day, we have divided, each worker has got a specific area, a target for achievable for that particular day. So, like if we have 12 sectors, we have divided per worker in a way that we can work on 2 sectors in a day, so that in 1 week we have covered 12 sectors. And then midday harvest from around 11:30 to 1, and then another harvest from 3 or 3:30 to 4. So that is our work. We are not bending. So in between, we are doing the bending job, and they are given beds that are achievable within a given time of like 3 hours or 2 hours.
Yeah, why can't you raise the beds a little bit higher?
The area of jobs, women occupying lower level jobs. That itself is about discrimination. How can we mainstream? What measures can we put in place to make sure that these are addressed and we come out the other side? We get more women supervisors.
There are so many women working in the horticultural industry, but very few of them are supervisors, and it seems to contribute to the high levels of sexual harassment.
Many women work in low positions. They are not in supervisory positions. You may find in a farm of about 1,200 workers, you find only about maybe 10 women supervisors. But even then, those women supervisors are again subject to headmen. So there is actually no power that women are holding in the flower farms. So therefore, they are subjected to sexual harassment. Because sexual harassment is about power, coming from the powerful to the powerless. And therefore, women are in the powerless position and they are subjected to this evil.